Hello and peace. By popular demand, we are making the Whitewater, Wisconsin Congregational United Church of Christ Forbidden Cake. Long story short, there was a lady who was a little on the mean side. She was kind of a bully. She had an event after a church potluck one day and told everybody that they weren't allowed to bring sweets to the potluck. Well, my mom and dad came to visit, and my mom says, I don't know who this lady thinks she is, but there's no way in hell that I'm not bringing any sweets to the potluck. So, my mom made her famous chocolate inside out coconut cake. Now, everything in this cake is store-bought. It's not a cake that's made from scratch, but there's a technique to the cake that makes it extra special and extremely scrumptious. So this is what you will need. You need, I got a Betty Crocker Super Moist Devil's Food cake. You can use whatever brand you like. I prefer the chocolatiest cake, and I find Devil's Food to be the most chocolatey. Now you follow the directions on the back, except for there's a slight alteration. I already put my cake mix in the bowl, and it calls for a half a cup of oil, vegetable oil. I happen to just have peanut oil in here because I fry bread and things, but any kind of vegetable oil, corn oil, like regular vegetable oil. I had a couple extra like tablespoons of oil just left in my bottle, so I put them in there. It makes the cake extra moist, but for the most part, you put a half a cup, just like it says on the back of the box. Um, it calls for a cup of water to go in. My mother and I, as a trick, like to make the cake more chocolatey and a little more scrumptious, would take a cup of cold dark coffee, and we would pour the cup of coffee in. And the recipe calls for 3 eggs. I make sure that I use cage-free eggs. Look at how their yolks are very yellow. Crack them into another bowl before you put them into your mixing bowl with your other ingredients, just in case you get a bad egg. But these eggs are especially lovely. So we're going to pour all of our eggs in there. Okay, now I have a little whisk. I'm going to whisk all this together. How's everyone doing today? Did you have a good solstice and a good midsummer? I did. I was just thinking about the times where I did get bullied a little bit at that church, but Kay Robers, the angel who is in charge of the clothes closet, which was one of the most rewarding experiences in volunteering that I ever had, she's the reason I'm actually giving this recipe for the forbidden cake, because she was there. She was there, and she's an extraordinary human being, and I love her so much. Hi, Kay, I love you. Here's the technique and the recipe for the cake. So here, we're just gonna whip this up. Also, foreshadowing, you need chocolate chips. My mom would probably use the whole entire bag, like in the future, but I used half of the bag because I made this cake earlier in the week and it's all gone. But yes, chocolate chips. And after like the first part of this recipe, you will need coconut pecan frosting. Like I said, it's a cake that isn't from scratch. Everything is like store-bought, but it's because of the technique and the way that this cake is made that makes it especially scrumptious, especially rich. All right, so these are also just like the things you need, okay? So I am going to whip this up, and I will be back and show you in like a few seconds, okay? I'll be back. We're back. I have I think, 8x8 glass pan here. I buttered it. I did not butter and flour it. It's not necessary, but you could use cooking spray. But here you go. Now, you take half of your batter, half of it and you put it in the bottom of your pan. Like so. Spread it out. I am using a toaster oven today because I do not have an air conditioner at my house. And I'm trying to make it not as warm. So we take our cake with half of the cake batter, 350 degrees, just like it says on the back of the cake box. So I'm gonna put that there, hopefully you drop it. Go like this. Get the air bubbles out of your cake. Put your cake in there like so. Do you see it? Okay, close it up. Set it for 15 minutes and bake that part of the cake for 15 minutes, and I will see you in a few. Okay, it's done. So that's the bottom part of the cake's layer, and it's, I think, for the most part done, like partially done, but mostly done. You take it out of the oven. You bring it over here. I put it on like a hot pad thing. Okay, yeah, so it's a little bit not quite done, but it's partially done because we still have to bake the middle and the other top of the cake. So set my camera up here so you can see what I'm doing. Can you see the cake? Okay, now let me grab a knife here. Now we take the pecan and caramel frosting and you stir it so it's nice and loose. It's kind of clawingly sweet, so I'm going to take a pinch of sea salt or two and stick it in there. Stir it up really good, and then evenly disperse this over the cake. That's partially done. Yep. I'm going to take my spread it on there. So, like so. So, now, I could have actually baked mine a little bit more, but 15 minutes is a good rule. Now take half of your chocolate chips and sprinkle them on here evenly, like so. Because this is a secret inside-out chocolate coconut cake. People don't know that there's a secret, like gooey, like special layer on the inside. Now, take the rest of your chocolate batter and evenly put that over the top of the cake, like so. And take the rest of your chocolate chips that are left and disperse them evenly over the top of the cake, because people don't know it's a secret gooey center in there. They just see that it's a chocolate cake with chocolate chips on it, and they don't know until they cut into the cake what it all entails. I'll be right back. Take your cake into the oven or the ovenette like I have today. Put it in there. 350 degrees. 350 degrees. Set it for 22 minutes. 22 minutes is a good rule, but you can always do the thing where you take a toothpick and you put it in the middle of your cake to see if it comes out clean. Even though it's a gooey cake, you'll know whether or not your cake is done. And I'll be right back. And this is what your finished cake should look like. 15 minutes for the first layer, 22 minutes for the second layer in a regular oven should be just fine. Enjoy your cake. Peace.